नमस्ते अस्तु भगवन् विश्वेश्वराय महादेवाय त्र्यम्बकाय त्रिपुरान्तकाय त्रिकालाग्निकालाय कालाग्निरुद्राय नीलकण्ठाय मृत्युञ्जयाय सर्वेश्वराय सदाशिवाय श्रीमन्महादेवाय नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। Namaste to all, and I'm very happy to have this privilege to speak to you all, the devotees of the Hindu temple, on this holy occasion of Mahāśivarātri. Thanks to Vaishaliji for inviting me to give this lecture virtually and reconnect with all of you who I had visited a couple of years back, few years back, and had a wonderful time with during my visit to the Hindu temple. Mahāśivaratri is a very unique festival in many ways. Usually in the Hindu dharma, in the Hindu tradition, most of our festivals are all about worship, no doubt, but the worship leads to some kind of a gathering and celebration. Mahāśivaratri is also a gathering and a celebration, but it is more inward focused rather than outward focused. This is one way this Mahāśivaratri is different from other festivals, very unique. Another unique aspect is that when most festivals are celebrated during the day, this is one festival that is celebrated during the night. There is a meaning for that. And in America, we have this habit of pushing all the festivals to the weekends because everybody works during the week. And, so if a festival falls on Wednesday or Thursday or something, Tuesday, then it is pushed to the following weekend. We can't do that with Mahāśivaratri. There is some confluence of energies, spiritual energies, if you will, that makes it very, very important to celebrate on the day that it falls, which is on the 13th, 14th lunar cycle, in the lunar calendar, the 13th, 14th day, and that night it is celebrated. And so it's a very unique festival, and it is a graduation, so to speak, for the people from the first to the second portion of the Veda. The Veda is a huge compendium of prayers in the tradition, and it is divided into two parts. The first part is all about praying for something, to be given something, praying for desires to be fulfilled. And if we start talking about desires, there is no end to desires. Desire is like fire. It is like Anala, the one who doesn't know the meaning of the word enough. It's a conflagration and it keeps wanting to be fed. So the first portion of the Veda makes the person mature enough to sift the desires through the sieve of dharma. Whatever it doesn't pass the muster of what is correct, what is rightful, what is righteous, and what is right for that person in that particular station of life is not followed. And so, putting one on a diet of dharma and prayer, well, the Veda, the first portion of the Veda, encourages one to fulfill the desires with the help of dharma, with the help of prayers. And in so doing, the person grows up. Not just grows up physically, but also emotionally. Because the person learns that there is not, everything cannot be fulfilled all at once, and some desires are not there to be fulfilled, and some desires, even if you fulfill, it is of no use, because every desire for every object, relationship, event, accomplishment is finite. The heart, the human heart, is hardwired for moksha, freedom. Freedom from what? Freedom from being a person, a lacking person, a wanting person, a constantly desiring, dissatisfied person. A person with regrets, fear, sorrow, anxiety, all this one doesn't want. And therefore, after some time of immersing oneself in the first portion of the Veda, one desires to be a non-desiring person. This is very, very nice. A non-desiring person. It's wonderful. And so therefore, the festival of Mahāśivarātri in a way marks the cusp between the first and the second portion of Veda. The second portion of Veda is also known as Vedanta, where the person who seeks this kind of a freedom from desiring is taught that they are already whole, that one is what one desires to be. One is already an appreciative, contented, non-demanding and objective person. So what remains is not to gain something more in time, because whatever is gained in time is lost in time. So the point is to discover what is already the truth of oneself. And for this there are the Upanishads, which comprise the second portion of the Veda, where the person is taught, you are already what you seek, you are the whole, you are free, you are one with Bhagavan, you are one with the source of the universe. And this is for this knowledge one has to qualify. One has to qualify by being an emotionally available and a sound person, a person who is together. And this is what Mahāśivaratri is, the bridge to help one to get from a desiring person always at the feet of Bhagavan, saying, give me, give me, give me, I want this, I want that. Nothing wrong. But then one knows that one wants something other than just this finite set of, desire fulfillment. One knows innately that one is not born just for the sake of fulfilling desires, that there is something greater, something larger, something bigger. that there is this freedom that one seeks from the constraints of what is known as samsara, the daily grind of living and trying to accomplish one's desires amidst all these constraints. One knows innately that one is not subject to depression, one is not subject to fear, one is not subject to sorrow or anxiety or conflict or strife. One knows that. And so the Mahāśivaratri becomes a very, very important festival to be able to cross the bridge between being a desiring person, a dharmic person, a desiring person, and then seeking to fulfill the desires through prayer and other, reaching out actions, etc. And being a person who is able to understand that he or she is the whole, and then everything is myself alone. There is nothing other than I. So there is nothing to desire, there is nothing to pursue, there is no one to chase after, nothing to run away from. And the Taittiriya Upanishad describes such a person who knows this as Sarvan Kaman Samashnute. They have no desires because everything they seek is right there, it already belongs to them. They are fulfilled people of knowledge. So Mahāśivaratri becomes an important bridge in many ways. If we unpack the festival itself, first of all, the Ishta Devata is Lord Shiva here. The night of Lord Shiva, Mahāśivaratri, the great night of Lord Shiva. And the word Shiva means auspicious. And what is this thing called auspicious? What is auspicious, first of all? Fulfilling a desire, you can say, is very auspicious because I really wanted this and I got this, it is Mangalam. But really speaking, is it really Mangalam? Well, until the next desire comes, it is auspicious to fulfill one desire. Then it is not Mangalam because the human quest, the road, the path of desire fulfillment doesn't have anything. Is not through desire fulfillment. The path of desire fulfillment does not lead to fulfillment, primarily because the desires themselves are totally dead ends. Each desire is like a dead end. You go to this cul-de-sac and you have to turn back, not having gained what you really want. And what you really want is to be free of being tethered and enslaved to all kinds of desires. This is what one really wants. To be a contented person, a cheerful person, a person who is satisfied, tushta, a person who is appreciative, not always criticizing, a person who is non-demanding, and finally a person who is not mired in subjectivity and victimization. This is what one wants to be, and therefore the worshipping Lord Shiva, invoking Lord Shiva, who is the incarnation of auspiciousness, Mangala, means that seeking this Shiva and gaining this Shiva as the truth of yourself, the pursuit comes to an end. That is the definition of Mangalam, not anything else. Anything else which makes you keep on seeking is not Mangalam, because one is again seeking, not having found the truth, not having found what one wants. One is seeking endlessly. Instead of seeking the infinite, one has sadly become an infinite seeker. This is a sad thing. That's why even in the Hindi movies and vernacular movies, especially, they, at the end they will say Shubham Mangalam, meaning they lived happily ever after. That's a lie, but at least for the sake of the movie, to wind it up, there, the whole family, the feuding, warring family comes together, everybody stops fighting, and they pose for a final photo, and then it says underneath Shubham or Mangalam. This Shiva is Mangalam, not just in the what is that called, the uh, vernacular movies, etc. This Bollywood Mangalam. No, Shiva is ultimate Mangalam. Seeking this Shiva, gaining this Shiva as the truth of yourself, one stops being a seeker. One stops being a seeker. There's nothing more auspicious than that. That's why the word Shiva is auspiciousness. Another meaning of the word Shiva is free of papa, free of all omissions and commissions centered on the I, free of guilt, free of hurt, free of regrets, free of feeling hounded by other people's omissions and commissions towards oneself, or free of the regret of doing something or having done something that is, that one is not proud of, that one cannot forgive oneself. This is Shiva. No regrets, no pains, no sorrows, no papa, no punya. Papa, all kinds of comfortable situations because of some good deeds done in this or other lives. And then, punya, papa, the opposite of that, uncomfortable situations gained by deeds that went against dharma in this or other lives. This is what it is. So therefore, invoking Lord Shiva itself as the truth of oneself. And who is the one who is invoking? The one who feels, I am totally inauspicious, I am insecure, I am inauspicious. So the inauspicious one is invoking the truth of this, the truth of the source of the universe. As what? As the source of all auspiciousness. The incomplete one is invoking the Lord Shiva as the source of Purnatva, completion. And the finite jiva, who thinks himself herself to be a mortal, is invoking Lord Shiva as the one that is immortal. And the one that is mired in samsara is invoking Lord Shiva as the one who is free of all pains and sorrows. In other words, the limited jiva, limited within quotes, the one who thinks himself herself to be limited, invokes the limitless. In prayer, surrender, and worship all night long. This is very, very nice. So tell me this, when the limited, the one who thinks himself herself to be the limited, invokes the limitless, merges, so to speak, in the limitless, then what is left? Only the limitless is left. The limited is subsumed in the limitless. The notions of being limited are just hoovered up by the limitless. There is no room for limitations, because these limitations are what is called mithya. They are just on the level of feelings and the empirical day-to-day transactional reality. That's not the truth. That's not the ultimate reality. The ultimate reality, which is limitless, which is now known as Shiva, who we are invoking joyously, is free of all papa, punya, free of regret, free of delusions, free of desires, free of pains, sorrows, free of fear, anxiety. And so when the anxious one, when the pained one, when the fearful one, and when the one who thinks oneself to be finite invokes Lord Shiva as the source of that which is all limitless, then the anger, fear, pain, sorrow are all swallowed up. Like even the Hala Hala Visha, the famous story, the Puranic story of Lord Shiva drinking the poison. And the poison is nothing but samsara, the pain of samsara, which is not out there in the universe. In fact, the universe is as good as it is recognized and as good as it is processed. The universe is right here in between the temples where it is where it is experienced. The experience of the universe is always filtered, eclipsed by the night of my own self-ignorance. That is why Shivaratri. Because during the daytime one is busy, one is, being a contributor, one is doing something, taking care of the family, taking care of things that people need. The night, of course, is filled with the ghouls of fear, anger, sorrow, etc. And here the night is the night, the dark night of self-ignorance, Atma Ajnanam. And therefore, Lord Shiva is worshipped in the night to chase away the Rakshasas of finitude, mortality in the form of notions of mortality, fear, sorrow, anger, incompleteness, insecurity, self-judgment, judgment of others, everything. Please, Hara Hara Mahadeva. Hara Hara means take away, take away, take away. Oh Lord, take away the night of self-ignorance. Drive away the night of self-ignorance from my heart and replace it with the daylight of self-knowledge that I am one with you. I am non-separate from you. I'm included in you. I'm not away from you. Let me know that I'm not alienated or disconnected from you. You see, it's a very mature festival. Very, very mature festival. And that is why this is a very, very important festival. And then the other thing to know is that the icon represented that represents Lord Shiva is a stone, really. Kind of a stone with a kind of a smooth shape called linga. Lingyate anena iti linga, by which something is indicated. Linga means indication, it's a sign. So what are you worshipping? You're not worshipping anything but a sign. What is it a sign of? It's a sign of the entire universe, including the one that is looking at this sign, namely the worshipper. Very interesting. It's almost like all the namas and the rupas of the entire universe were just patted into one form. It comes very close. What I'm trying to say is that the Shiva Linga comes very, very extremely close to the formless I, the formless, nameless self, which is the truth of Bhagavan. Although all forms are Bhagavan, Bhagavan can be invoked in any name, any form. Bhagavan does not have a specific name or form. He, she is everything without being any one thing in particular. That is what is limitlessness. And so to here, the form of Lord Shiva is almost like a non-form. non-form. But then again it becomes very close to the non-form, and it is a form because it is a symbol, it's a sign. And then it includes the feminine and the masculine, the Shakti. That is what makes Bhagavan Bhagavan. The Shakti to project this universe, the Shakti to sustain this universe, the Shakti to take it back, including the Shakti, that Maya Shakti, which for Bhagavan is a blessing, and which on the flip side for the Jiva is a curse because it covers, as it were, the vision of the Lord in one's own heart. And so, therefore, this linga is included, the Shakti is included there, because the Shakti cannot be separated from Lord Shiva. The Shakti is the manifest universe, and Lord Shiva is the intelligent cause of the manifestation. They go together. There is not one is better than the other, nothing, one is above the other. No, no such thing. That is all because of our immaturity. We come up with all kinds of theories and notions and theologies. So the Shakti is sacred because it shows that the entire universe is Lord Shiva, non separate from Lord Shiva. Every name and form, every manifestation is that manifestation of this Shakti alone. And that is why we not only have so many Jyotirlingas in India, we also have Shakti Pithas. Very, very beautiful. And then they go together. And so we don't invoke the Lord without the goddess, and we don't invoke the goddess without the Lord. They are together. And then, so therefore, the form, the icon here, the iconography, it shows a very sophisticated understanding of Bhagavan, which is yet one more reason why the celebration of Mahāśivarātri is at the cusp of the first portion of the Veda and the second portion of the Veda, which teaches the truth of oneself. And that is why it is done in the night. The night symbolizes self-ignorance. And then what does it do? It drives away the poison of the broods of self-ignorance. Self-ignorance, I mean ignorance of the I by itself cannot cause problems. You see, everything, every jiva in the universe is born ignorant. Even the dog, the cat, etc., they also have ignorance centered on the self. The dog doesn't know, actually there is a spelling mistake in my name. It should be G-O-D, not D-O-G. It doesn't know that. But yet, it seems to be happier than most of the people in the universe. As long as it's not killed, as long as it's not abused, and it is allowed to play, it is fed, it seems to be more happy than many of the human beings, frankly. And this is why I think people keep pets, because they show unconditional love. They show the ability to be in the present effortlessly, which is what one seeks to do, one seeks to be. So then the dog is also ignorant, the human jiva is also ignorant. Ko bhedaha, what is the difference? Where is the difference here? The difference here is in the fact that the human being has full freedom. The dog is programmed by the universe to just want a few things, and then that's all it is. It doesn't have the ichha shakti, the capacity to desire. It is conscious of itself, it is conscious of other dogs, it is conscious of predators. That's about it. But for the human beings, both a blessing and a curse, one is conscious of oneself, one is conscious of everything. One is free enough, completely and totally self-aware, and free enough to have a judgment centered on the self. That is what causes sorrow. And that is the, unfortunately, the brood of Atma Ajnanam. So Atma Ajnanam is the, you can do a kind of a family tree of Atma Ajnanam. So first we have Atma Ajnanam, and then after that we have the child of Atma Ajnanam, because I don't know the glory of myself. I don't know that I am everything, and everything that is there in the universe is an extension of myself alone. I don't know that. And so therefore what? So therefore I have desires. So the child of Atma Ajnanam is Kama. Kama turns into Krodha. Krodha turns into delusion, Moha, etc., etc. That is one branch of this family tree. Another branch is Kama turns into, karma, action, because the desire doesn't let one sit still. The desire wants, keeps one, makes one act and fulfill those desires. And so therefore then it turns into karma, action. Then there is result of action. Karma has twins, papa, punya. Good results of actions and not so good results of actions that have to be experienced. And because of that, then there is punarjanma, rebirth. So this is like a shrinkhala, a vicious cycle. This is why Atma Ajnanam is troublesome, because along with it come the broods of insecurity, pain, sorrow. Because if I don't know who I am, then I'm free enough to come to all kinds of conclusions. Definitely I come to the conclusion I'm as good as the body, I'm as good as the mind, I'm as good as my feelings, and then samsara begins. Along with these wrong conclusions. Those wrong conclusions centered on the I constitute the darkness of the night that is dispelled by Lord Shiva's grace. And Lord Shiva takes this poison of anyatha jnanam, wrong conclusions, and drinks it up so that you don't have to endure it. See how compassionate it is. The story is how compassionate Lord Shiva is. Another meaning of the word Lord Shiva is Ashutosha, the one who gives the results, easily pleased. So the one who gives the results of the prayer very, 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 very quickly. You just say a few Om Namah Shivayas, done. And this is something which is very beautiful. So easy it is to invoke. And there is no wrong way of invoking Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is pleased with just a little water, 3 leaves, bilva leaves, or any leaves, anything. Lord Shiva looks not for some kind of elaborateness of worship, but for the sincerity coming from the heart. That's why anybody who approaches or invokes Lord Shiva is immediately blessed. So this is something which is so wonderful to understand, and so important to see that this is a festival that consciously leads one to the gateway of emotional maturity. And this emotional maturity is what is needed for the pursuit of self knowledge. And when Lord Shiva is invoked, one of the famous invocations in the tradition is called Shri Rudram. With the chanting of that, the abhisheka of all the dravyas is done. Various, milk, water, milk, fruit juice, all these things are put. Vibhuti, water, everything. And so the Sri Rudram is a very holy and powerful prayer whose main purport is to give vairagya. The chanting or the listening to Sri Rudram gives total vairagya. And vairagya means dispassion. This freedom from the relentless shackles of subjectivity coming from the pains and sorrows of the past. And so, therefore, this doing this kind of a worship with the chant of the Sri Rudram cleanses the heart of strong prejudices and preferences, raga and dvesha. And since the raga and dvesha go, then what replaces the raga dvesha? Not replaces, what is uncovered is that is already there. The compassion, the kindness, the joy, the freedom from want. In other words, one discovers oneself, the truth of oneself as an appreciative, non demanding, contented, and objective person. So, with these words, my prayer for you is to enjoy this festival as you discover the meaning of this. Enjoy this festival fully, and may it lead you to great heights of self discovery, emotional maturity, self growth, and self knowledge. May Lord Shiva dispel the doom and gloom of samsara for everyone. And may Lord Shiva take away all notions of mortality and finitude from the recesses of the heart. May everyone be happy, healthy, and joyous. ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतङ्गमय ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ. Thank you.